Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there. So please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money. So check it out and throw some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks. Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try and make your world a little weirder. I'm Kyle.
Hey, and I'm Nile.
And Nile, we're
It's a great energy. Okay. What are we doing?
It's so hard to record these after work. I said I began to speak,
Yeah.
and then I stared off into space. And I can tell you what was going through my brain.
What was that?
It was gotta think of a bit, some sort of comedy bit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. And that's really sad for me.
Yeah.
I slave away at a hot computer all day.
Yeah.
And then I come
You really
here.
got to get your fans working better. If that computer's too hot,
That
man.
thing is running way too hot. I have to restart it every 10
I know
minutes.
you don't want to have kids, but like there are better ways.
I do set it on my bare, unclothed lap.
Yeah. And just nuke those bad boys.
And I'm just really trying to get those fuckers to shrivel up because
Yeah.
I'm not using them.
What a dark way to start this show. Okay. I'm with it.
Niall.
Yeah.
This week,
Kyle
Niall,
Ball update. What's good job.
This week,
Yeah.
I wanted to get away from the world of weird for an episode and just
Oh God. Okay.
talk about maybe some other stuff we enjoy.
I don't know if I'm uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm comfortable with this, Kyle.
I'm sorry. I realize this is kind of a bit of a surprise, but I basically
This week we're going to talk about croissants.
yeah.
How to get good lamination, how to get the kind of the puff correct, like get
Yes.
different glazes and washes, you know.
We have reached the It Gets Weird croissant era, or croissant, if you
I don't know why I went there. Like I've never made a croissant in my life.
but
But
we're
I
about
have
to.
made other things. So I could have picked like fried rice. I could have picked fucking like chili or like something that I actually have knowledge of. But no, I fucking went with the great French pastry, the croissant.
Did you ever have a moment in your life where
Yeah.
you went into a coffee shop, like a Starbucks style place? That's the question.
Oh yeah,
No.
no, I have been in a coffee shop. I know
No.
it doesn't seem like it because time means nothing anymore.
Yeah.
we're in the shadow realm that we currently live in.
No, did you like ever go into like a place like that and like pronounce croissant correctly and get the nastiest sneer to the point where you're like, well, I'll just say it the American way forever now.
So you're saying, have I ever walked into a coffee shop? Like the fact that you stated like Starbucks and you wanted me to know if I've ever gone in and say, may I have un croissant, please?
No, you're not saying, oh, un croissant, por favor. You're not.
You're not. Por favor.
I'm
Huh?
sorry. Okay. So I there is a reason that I have that on the brain as well. Oh God. See, and this is the thing is you can hear the machinery of my brain on these
Yeah.
podcasts, presumably, because I'm about to talk about something.
I try to noise gate that stuff out mostly, but occasionally some of the gears turning is so loud that it does slip into the podcast.
I am so scared. I turned 30 this year.
Yeah.
And my brain, my thought process is just a jumbled up mixture of the things throughout the day, where at a certain point in the day, I just start saying things that have been happening. The point is my brain doesn't work good. It
Yeah.
doesn't work good no more. And I just conflated fucking the French thing with the Spanish and so anyways, I at one point said that in a coffee shop and I didn't say, oh, un croissant. I said, oh yeah, I'll have the croissant, please. And they were like, oh, this fucking guy, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? And they like nudged the other person behind the counter, like, look at this fuckhead.
Yeah.
I was like, come right here.
And then they spat in your face.
And they spat at me.
Yeah.
And
threw some, like, they knocked out a coffee puck right on your face.
well, okay, as long as we're dissecting my stupid brain here,
Yeah.
they're like, my brain will be like in a situation like that. I'm like, oh, well, it's like pronounced croissant. That's a word. That's the word. I should probably say it that way. That's the word, right? Like, that's like the
Yeah.
actual thing.
Well, I mean,
And-
basically, yeah.
And I think I'm doing an okay job.
Here's the thing. It depends on if you're talking about does the accent of the language it's generally pronounced in factor into that language upon translation. That's the thing that I don't know.
I think
and
it
that's the thing I
does.
think about.
I think it does with French, and because like it kind of does with I think it does.
Okay.
I think you are supposed to pronounce the French word croissant as croissant.
Okay.
So this has been
This has been us talking about a thing that neither of us are qualified to talk about.
I mean, I feel like anyways.
But if you want a window into how my brain works, I spent about like 15 minutes in the bathroom this morning, first convincing myself that I think choirs are bad before realizing that I think that like, okay, so this came about because I was trying to figure out why I didn't love David Byrne's American Utopia as much as I thought I was going to.
And this is not long after you have seen Stop Making Sense.
Yes, I love Stop Making Sense. I liked American Utopia, but it felt kind of flat to me. And I was trying to figure out like what's the main difference between those two things, and I came across the reason that there's a lot more of a choral backing to David Byrne's singing in that show. There are background vocalists on Stop Making Sense, pretty famously, but it's a lot less of a harmonicized choral presentation than it is on American Utopia. And because of that, I was sitting there thinking like, okay, I really like David Byrne's vocals because they're unique, they're interesting, they have an inflection and emotion to them that comes from the faults and uniqueness of his voice.
True.
And when the general purpose of a choir is to smooth out the edges of each individual voice into a thing that is a unit that can then be louder and more pronounced but be heard as one large mass of sound that is harmonious together. And so by sanding off all those the uniqueness and edges that you have in a unique voice such as David Byrne's and putting it with this backing group of trained choir singers effectively in a lot of songs, I don't think they hit as much for me because it tones down the things that I like, the idiosyncrasies that I like the most in his works. And that's the point I'm actually making is like, I think I like it more when he's singing by himself or with just like some basic backing vocals in a more rock style. But I basically convinced myself that I hated choirs this morning for a short time period and had to like walk myself back from the edge when I don't. Like they're especially in like certain situations, they work really well.
Yeah.
But I for a short time this morning convinced myself that as a thing, choirs are the antithesis of good music. And that is the amount of like weird fucking like pinhole hot takes that I occasionally have to convince myself of and then get out of. So yeah, that's I figured since you were putting your brain fucking mist
Just
out
on
into the
display,
world, I should that was a weird thing that happened to me today that sent me into a short crisis.
My first thoughts this morning were I have a slice of leftover pie in the fridge.
Oh, that's really good. What kind of pie?
It was just a fucking lime. What is it?
Key lime?
I had a key lime.
I love a good key lime pie.
Should I start playing Wordle? Those were my
New York
first
Times
thoughts.
just took it, so I'd give it a couple days to shake out what they're going to do with it. What are we talking about today, Kyle?
Well, we're going to get away from UFOs, conspiracies, cryptids, and other stuff like that. Just dig into one of our personal interests, I think. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Man, people listening to this so far probably are convinced that that's true. This week, I want to talk about Batman.
Okay.
Oh, hold up. Sorry. Oh, sorry. My phone was upside down. That's Man Bat.
Oh, okay. See,
Um,
I thought you were going for real. So I made a note to edit. Now I have to uh, get rid of my edit note because you were just doing a funny bit.
yeah,
And this isn't a bit. That's a shoot.
the fucking well, I'm just now realizing how fucking stupid the idea is that like, oh, I read Batman on my phone because it was upside down. Um,
We're off to a
so
weird start on this episode,
and that's
folks.
this is
Ugh.
why people love the show.
Oh
We're going
man.
to talk about a man bat cryptid. I lied to the audience. That's a little bit that Garrett kind of taught me to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Shouts out to Garrett. We love you.
we're going to talk about a man bat cryptid named Camazotz.
Camazotz.
So
Okay.
sorry for the mix up. Yeah, Camazotz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I couldn't find a good pronunciation guide for this name here. But Camazotz. I don't know exactly why, but I was getting into cryptozoology from like the like ancient mythologies angle this week.
Okay.
And I found a number of them, but like I found the specific one where it was stories about a man bat cryptid type mythological creature that originates from ancient Mayan culture. And what I usually found with a lot of the other mythological creatures was that they like stayed in the ancient past and they were basically just legends,
Mm-hmm.
but not Camazotz.
Ooh, we got some modern Camazotz sightings.
Lucky for us, there are modern day sightings of the man bat. So, this guy comes from Mesoamerican mythology and the beliefs of the Zapotec tribe of Oaxaca, Mexico.
Okay.
And this guy is first mentioned in a text called the Popol Vuh, which the Popol Vuh is the story of creation according to the Quiche Maya of the region that would today be known as Guatemala.
Isn't that also a post-punk band? The Popolvuh.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's, is it really?
Yeah, I'm
Well-
pretty sure that there's a post-punk band.
Oh
I
my
always
God.
pronounced it Popol Vuh, and I'm probably wrong. So that just like I had to quickly. That did shake me out of the fucking the like stupor of trying to remember DC's Man Bat's first name, and like it's something Langstrom, and I'm trying to remember if it was.
Oh, I know.
I think I was confusing with Robert Langdon, who's the protagonist of the Da Vinci Code novels. And I don't think it's Robert Langstrom. I think it's like Hubert or Harold or
It's something like
some
that.
H name.
Yeah,
but
I remember that because I watched Batman the animated series last year because
yeah,
I had nothing better to do.
yeah. I got that shit on Blu. It looks great on Blu-ray.
I
boy.
believe it. I
It's
wanna
really
watch it.
good.
Again,
I don't know why I called you boy. That was weird. Sometimes just like things that roll off the tongue just come out, and I don't know.
So the Popol Vuh, and this
Yeah.
I had an actual pronunciation, or at least I think it was an actual pronunciation of it. It was like an article read aloud by a bot, basically. But this name would translate as the Council Book, or the Book of the People, or literally the Book of the Mat. And the work has, I guess it gets referred to as the Mayan Bible, but that's not correct, really.
Yeah.
Because the Popol Vuh is not regarded by the Maya as the quote unquote word of God, or like a sacred scripture. It's an account of the quote unquote ancient world and the sort of understanding that the Quiche had of cosmology and creation before Christianity came around and fucked everything up.
Fair enough.
So the Mayans referred to the book as Ilbal, an instrument of sight, and it was called the Book of the Mat because they would go and sit on these woven mats to hear the work from this book recited at the council houses.
Oh, okay.
So, Book of the Mat. It's just mythologies and creation myths, really. Now, as for Camazotz in the Popol Vuh, it was said to be this monstrous, massive abomination, and it had both the features of a bat and a man. And it dwelled in this cave lair called Zotzilaha, or the House of Bats.
Fantastic. Okay.
And this thing was usually fucking strapped with a sacrificial dagger. Like, it's not enough that it's got like big bat
Yeah.
wings and like claws. It also has a dagger.
okay.
This guy also scared the shit out of the Mayans. Like he was a greatly feared creature. And so they would make sacrifices to it to appease it. And Camazotz was said to kill these offerings or anyone who was foolish enough to wander into its domain. And it would do so by taking its ritual knife either its ritual knife or its nose, which is like pointy,
Okay.
and it would decapitate people
Oh,
and
shit.
then just like drink their blood.
Okay.
So it's just a big bat with like extra weaponry. It's like,
yeah, like to be fair, bats probably don't need a lot of weaponry, but if that thing was flying at me with a big fucking like ritualistic
knife,
dagger
yeah.
coming at me, I hate Mayans. I'd be scared too. So
Yeah.
shouts out.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
I do see. I think bats are. I'm one of the people who thinks bats are very cute.
Mm.
I follow like a bat sanctuary on Instagram, and they post all these cute videos of bats eating like maggots and stuff and things that bats really enjoy. But I know that they can get really fucking big, like alarmingly big. So we'll talk about that.
And that's the like I'm with you with like I like bats, but the big ones do kind of freak me out.
Yeah, they kind of take on a bestial like, and they have like these big noses and faces that are kind of freaky looking. The bigger they are,
Yeah.
but the little ones, I always thought they were very cute. I mean, we had, I don't know if it was the same for you in your neighborhood, but when I was a kid, we had tons of bats at night. In the summer, tons and tons of bats like in the area because we had like forests nearby.
Yeah.
And like sometimes those guys would like perch in an area where I could see them, and they were just like little dudes. They were just like little kittens.
We had like a couple occasionally, but it wasn't a common occurrence.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that people have started like a drinking game for this podcast? And one of them is like every time I say the phrase shouts out. I think I say that about 4 times an episode. I don't know why. Like, it's not really something I use a lot in my day-to-day life. There's just something about the way that we do this podcast that I, for some reason, say the phrase shouts out far too much. And I just had that realization. And this is a podcast where we share. So that's where I'm at.
Look, I think people like it when there's sort of like an internal meme to a thing that they can latch onto. So we're just kind of building our brand here. So
Okay.
itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Email us the It Gets Weird drinking game because I'm not clever enough to think of this, and I don't do enough self-reflection to really to really come up with something like that. So let us know what you think. So here's one of the coolest things I think about this creature. So the lore surrounding the Camazotz is it basically has this layer where the walls are just fucking drenched in the blood of its poor victims.
Okay.
It is completely covered in blood. And in some of the early mythologies, it's described as one of the 4 animal demons that once destroyed mankind in the Mayan legends. It also, for some reason, it's also like the one in Mayan mythology that taught humans to create fire.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find like a lot about that. It's just like a thing that they mention. So I guess one day he was having a good day and he was like, you know what? I've terrorized these poor people enough. Let me show them something cool.
I've got this cool trick for you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry about wiping out the human race, but next time around I'm going to give you guys fire.
Yeah. So I guess he was having a good day that day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so like if you're not aware, in these sort of like Mayan legends, there were these gods that they would worship and they would often make sacrifices to appease these deities. At one point in this ancient mythology, basically the Mayans said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of the sacrificial bullshit. And they decided to revolt against the rules and the demands of the gods. And so it's said that as punishment, the Camazotz was released from the underworld to destroy the Mayan civilization.
I guess that answers the question, what's a god to a non-believer? It's a victim.
So so this fucking bat guy comes up out of hell and just starts wiping out the Mayan people. And
Look, Camazotz had to repaint his house.
yes,
It was time to do a spring cleaning, and he needed some fresh blood to repaint his entire fucking house because it was just getting a little dim and it dried too much. It got crusty. It was chipping and everything.
yeah.
So he had to scrape it all off first with the ritual dagger, and then got to repaint it.
Yeah, he's out with the real estate agent. He's like, perfect. I'll take it. I love it. I love this place, but I'm gonna need to do some painting. And then he looks devilishly at the
Yeah.
real estate agent, and they're like, oh, that can be done.
Yeah.
So
And look, that's how he painted. Look, that was only enough to do a half bath. And he's
Right.
got like 4 bathrooms.
You got to
and
get a
this shit.
couple.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna take a lot of people.
Yeah. At least a dozen human beings have got to die for this paint job. So here's the weird thing. Basically, the Camazotz wiping out the Mayans was meant to make it so that there could be this new race of people who would then like replace these rebellious Mayans and be like just totally obedient to the gods.
Okay.
Now here's something interesting. A couple of places bring up that the Mayan civilization was quote unquote mysteriously destroyed and we don't know why.
Is that true?
Kind of.
Okay.
We don't have like enough good like surviving historical text to point at a lot of exact things, but as I understand it, it's believed that the civilization was already in decline for various reasons, and then a great drought probably is what caused the Mayan civilization to collapse.
I honestly just kind of always assumed that the Europeans just kind of like fucked them.
That's also a big fucking problem.
Like plague and like if you bring over a whole new spate of diseases to a civilization that doesn't have a lot of structures for medicine, it probably isn't going to end well.
I was specifically reading that it was likely environmental, and they pointed probably to a drought, but
okay,
it's honestly, it could be a number of factors.
I really don't know. This is purely a place that I do not have any knowledge.
And like with all historical stuff on this show, I just kind of want to point out that like I'm taking some historical actual tidbits that I found because I was like, oh, I need to kind of drill into that a little. But then I'm also coming back to the world of just completely unreal stuff. So if I say anything wrong, please correct me. I'm happy to correct things that I get wrong.
I love doing episodes where like there's some historical context and we have slightly different approaches to those things where like I tend to not back up a lot of it with like researching the reality of it because I think it's funny. But you're much more of like a history person than I am. And so you try to actually figure these things out a little bit. And it honestly probably helps the basis of the episodes a bit. But I can just go ahead and say that I do it as a bit where I only read the conspiracy version of it. But yeah, I guess this is me admitting I don't know what happened to the Mayans.
Yeah, I didn't really either. And yeah, no, I just like straight up like Googled it and I was like, what do these people say? It seems there's like, we don't know exactly, but it's probably this, right? Like, so
okay.
yeah. Another one of the well-known legends associated with Camazotz is the trials of the Mayan heroes Hunahpu and I don't know how they pronounce X in these ancient Mayan names, but Xbalanque. I don't know how to pronounce that at all. I'm going to call him X. Hunahpu and X, who ventured deep into the underworld and found themselves in Zotzilaha. And the story goes that the bloodthirsty Camazotz descended to decapitate Hunahpu and keep the head in order to play ball games with it.
Oh, cool.
And then leaving his brother to cower with his own blowgun until dawn came and forced the demon to retreat.
So it can't be out during the. I guess. I mean, if it's a bat, I guess that makes sense.
Bat rules still.
I just didn't
apply.
know if okay.
Yeah.
Still taken in by bat rules. Gotcha.
Yes. So between this like enduring mystery of the end of the Mayan civilization and these tales of bat-like monsters, this creature, but also like people compare it to things from around the world like vampires.
Mm-hmm.
The legend of Camazotz has endured long enough for people to kind of fill in the gaps with stories of sightings of the creature.
Okay.
So the following stories that I have we have two major ones. They come from the website Mexico Unexplained.
All right.
So, which I honestly, I need to dig into that site more because like every goddamn state in the United States has a blank
Weird
unexplained,
something or
blank
something
weird.
unexplained. Yeah.
So I was delighted to see that there was an equivalent for Mexico. That was awesome.
I'm pretty sure I've come across I think some other countries have them too.
I'm sure.
That there are like, it's funny whenever you start looking up, especially very, they tend to like, I found it when I was looking up gnomes,
Yeah.
like various South American
Argentina?
countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking up, something in Europe, I forget exactly, but there are like, there are certain like countries that just have these people that just dig really far into the history and mythology and how it intersects with like cryptozoology and stuff. And it's I love these people because they're doing the work that I need.
Yeah, that's always amazing. It's always, and I've said it so many times, it's always sad when you can recognize that it's like, hey, there's like a whole culture surrounding some weird stuff, but I miss some of it because it has not been translated into English, and I want to know so badly.
Yeah. And Google Translate is not always good on subtlety.
Oh, it's terrible. So here are our two stories about encounters with the Camazotz, or what they think was the Camazotz. It was a chilly morning a few hours after midnight on Friday, January 16th, 2004. There was a young 20-something police officer, Leonardo Samaniego Gallegos, and he was patrolling the neighborhood of Valles de la Silla in the municipality of Guadalupe, an eastern suburb of Monterrey. Officer Samaniego was driving his patrol car down Aldama Street when he saw something big and black fall from a tall tree. Jesus, sorry, misreading that. The big black figure did not touch the ground, but seemed to hover over it. Samaniego turned on the patrol car's high beams, and before him, in the short distance, stood a humanoid with big black eyes, brownish skin, and what appeared to be black clothing or fur. According to the officer's report, upon having the car's lights shine upon it, the creature covered its eyes and became angry and then lunged at the car. It grabbed the patrol car and shook it violently.
Okay. Did it have wings? Do we have?
It's like hovering. It's like it's wearing. He can't tell if it's clothes or fur.
Okay.
And it's just like hovering there.
But it doesn't seem to like light, and it is covering its eyes and attacking the car. Okay.
Yes, it's pissed off. It doesn't like the light. It's attacking the car. And it like the thing is too is like with Camazotz, it's also like a supernatural being too.
Okay.
Like it's a cryptid, but it's a supernatural being. In a panic, Samaniego spun the car in circles to try to shake off whatever had gotten a hold of his car.
Started doing donuts. Fantastic.
Doing donuts with. What if this is just a very eccentric man? You know, like I'm practicing my magic tricks. I'm a street performer.
He literally is just like doing the trick where there's like a pole in a cloak, and he's balancing on it, you know, and this cop just freaks out.
The cop like turns the lights on, and it startles him enough that he falls over, and he just starts doing donuts.
Yeah,
he's caught on the car. That's funny.
Yeah,
not for the guy because it would probably hurt, but it's like kind of like a funny. It's like a cartoon bit in my mind.
Yeah, it's like it. I'm honestly surprised it didn't happen in the Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
That's quite the pull. So, Samaniego grabs the police radio and desperately calls for reinforcements. The creature then started to smash his windshield, at which point the young police... You okay?
Sorry. When you said call for reinforcements when the last thing we know he was doing donuts, it just made me think he needs more people to come out and do donuts.
He's like, he's in the middle of the donut. Get out here, you gotta see these sick tricks.
So you just have like a fucking group of squad cars doing donuts in a parking lot.
There's just like a Batman standing there. Hey,
oh, fuck.
You gonna like
got a baker's dozen of cops here.
So The creature then started to smash his windshield, at which point the young policeman shifted the car into reverse, gunned the engine, lost control of the vehicle, and crashed it, knocking him unconscious.
Sounds about right.
So when he came to, he was revived by paramedics and the creature was no longer around. Samaniego was rushed to University Hospital, and in addition to being treated for his physical wounds, he was subjected to psychological and toxicological tests to determine whether he was under the influence when he had his encounter. All the tests came up negative, apparently. The police department was left with a mangled car and the strange testimony of a very trusted officer. Now, this is a little bit of, and I guess it's probably regional too, but one thing I have heard about police in Mexico is that they are extremely corrupt.
Yeah, I'm guessing in certain areas, that's what I've heard too.
I think it's probably, like I said, regional, and I don't know what regions.
Yeah.
But like I could just picture a cop like being like, I was fucking drunk, but we need like a cover story because like I crashed my car. But I don't know if that's like, this is pure speculation. I have no idea.
I look, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I tend to trust cops less than a lot of the sources that we find, that like the fact that a cop is just automatically like, oh, we have to believe them.
It's
like, no,
it's such a fucking running bit with these fucking cryptid UFO people, is like, well, a cop saw it, therefore it's credible. And it's like, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're just they're a type of person who has the authority to kill you. Like that's really all it is. So that does not make them more credible. Sorry.
Nope.
So Samaniego's story spread quickly and caught the attention of local news stations throughout the Mexican state of Nuevo León. In an on-camera interview the next day, the police officer recounted the horrible night and gave a detailed description of the creature. The interviewers wondered exactly what he had seen. Was it a bird? Was it like a big bird of prey? Was it a huge bat? Was it some unclassified unknown animal, aka a cryptid? Was it a ghost? One interviewer even put forth the idea that it could have been some crazy person dressed up in a costume, although that would not account for the creature seeming to hover over the ground or the severe damage done to the police car, which we kind of solved that one, didn't we? Just a few minutes
magic
ago.
tricks, Burt Wonderstone. Yeah,
it was Burt
we figured
Wonderstone.
it out.
At the conclusion of one of the news stories, the announcer asked the public to come forward if they had any information about that specific incident, or if anyone had any knowledge of a big black flying creature seen at other times in the region. The response to this was quick. A resident of Monterrey and a member of the OVNI Club de Nuevo León, or in English, the UFO Club of Nuevo León, came forward with a video showing a strange black humanoid-looking being flying over the hills just outside the city. So I saw this video.
Oh, there is video.
There is a video of it.
Okay.
It's been spread around before too.
There's so many times when people are like, someone came forward with these pictures or this video, and it just isn't available, and it's so frustrating. So I'm always happy when it's available.
Yeah, let me see if I can like find it for you. You know what? I'll get that for you down the road.
Yeah,
here.
maybe we'll throw a link up in the Discord or something.
I was getting some disturbing results.
Worrying results.
Yeah. So we'll I'll find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get video of this, like, and it's like one of those things where like it kind of looks like a humanoid, but it also kind of looks like it's like weirdly like still in the air. Like it's not like
bad CGI.
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Okay.
But the station played the video on the air, and afterwards many reports came in about what would later be called La Bruja de Guadalupe, or the Witch of Guadalupe. So, which, you know, this is one of those patterns where it's like you have the initial story and then you get a bajillion reports.
Yeah. And so it's now a witch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 3 policemen from the municipality of Santa Catarina, another suburb of Monterrey, claimed to have seen the creature several times flying over the Sierra Las Mitras, the site of a natural wilderness preserve just north of town, which is known for its jagged peaks. Another policeman named Gerardo Garza Carvajal of the same town of Santa Catarina claimed to see a creature standing 1.5 meters tall with dark feathers or fur and black claws in the town's cemetery. I don't know enough about brujeria, but I feel like a bruja is like kind of a catch-all term.
Yeah, I
A
was
little
gonna say
bit.
it probably isn't like witch is probably not the direct analog to it,
Yeah.
but okay, all right.
So he thought it was a gigantic bird or bat, but it had the face of a human. Uh, it, in this,
Just imagining like big animals with like everything else being the same but with a human face. For some reason that always makes me laugh. I don't know why. It like the Sphinx shit just gets me.
it's kind of hard to beat the Sphinx. That's like kind of the original, huh?
Yeah.
It's like
I it's just one of those things that
it's
will
good.
always make me
It's
laugh.
very good. It's very good. There should be more creatures with like human faces, I think.
Yeah. And when you say human face, don't just mean like it has the basic layout of a human face. I want it to look like fucking Danny DeVito or some
Yeah,
shit.
I want it to have like a detailed human
Yeah.
face.
Give
for
me
sure.
like a discernibly human face.
Yeah. Give me like a give me like a big ass owl, but it has Ron Perlman's face, like specifically
Yeah.
his entire face.
Or like a James Gandolfini. Like give me
Yeah.
something.
Give me something good.
Yeah.
In this sighting, Officer Garza said that soon after the creature appeared, it was joined by another one of the same size and type.
Oh, we have two now?
So there's two now.
Interesting. So that would kind of go against the whole like Camazotz like God thing,
That's
right?
what I thought too. Um, that's what I thought too.
Unless like it has some like duplication shit or something. Like I watched Total Recall again last night, and they have that like wristband that you can like make a hologram of yourself to duplicate yourself. I wonder if maybe
Camazotz
Camazotz has the duplicator wristband. from
Camazotz
Total
is trying to
Recall.
stay with the times, and he's got the Total Recall duplicator wristband. Yeah,
Ah, hey, that's-
absolutely.
Look, I watched. Just be glad that since I watched Total Recall and Cloud Atlas yesterday, that I'm not instead trying to pull from Cloud Atlas, because that would instantly double the length of this episode. That movie's so fucking wild.
You
It's
gotta
great.
just
You should watch it.
Before we record an episode, you just gotta watch like the funniest, weirdest movies possible, so that you can just make those polls.
I haven't. Here's the thing. I haven't seen Burt Wonderstone in like I don't know 6 years.
Yeah,
But that also then illuminates the fact that I have seen.
that's true. That's true.
incredible
I've
Burt
never seen the
Wonderstone.
amazing Burt Wonderstone myself.
Ugh.
But Garza ran to a guardhouse and locked himself there until the creatures left. The theory that these are gigantic birds is supported by eyewitness testimony of Francisco Pena, who lives near the Santa Catarina Cemetery. And he claims that when the creatures make noise, they sound like laughing turkeys.
Interesting.
So
Wait, is laughing turkey a type of turkey, or is he saying a turkey that is laughing?
I think a turkey that is laughing. Some of
Okay.
this is I think some of this might be translated. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he's just saying like the laughing of turkeys.
I didn't know turkeys could laugh.
I mean, they can make noises.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's
you learn
laughing is
something
an
every day.
interpretation that you could make, I guess. But
I don't know.
mhm. Go.
I just had. Can I eat? Can I just had the thought of like, can I ethically eat an animal that can laugh? And that made me realize that I don't really know what animals can laugh, and it's that's something for me to think about. I
Yeah,
think.
because I think you can, I think you can rule out ever having like hyena or like a parakeet on your dish.
Can cows laugh? I mean, there's laughing cow cheese. Look, this is just an episode where I'm giving myself existential crises, I guess.
Well, they named the cheese after that because of the famously cows are fucking chortling up a
Look.
storm.
Look, fucking cows love Stephen Wright bits. It's just like they love kind of dry observational
And see,
one-liners.
This is why it's not as much of a known fact about cows laughing, is because you got to put the right sense of humor
Yeah.
in front of them.
Yeah.
They don't respond to slapstick like physical comedy. You put a classic Charlie Chaplin in from there, like you're nothing but moos and grazing. They
And
don't give a
honestly,
shit.
no cow has laughed since the day Mitch Hedberg died.
That's true.
So
That's true.
there
We
you
only
go.
have recordings. Such a stupid bit. So yeah, there's like There's laughing turkeys. Thanksgiving's over.
Fuck.
Of all the stories coming out as a result of the newscasts, perhaps the most interesting came from a man named Manuel Cifuentes, who is also a policeman for the municipality of Guadalupe and a colleague of Samaniego. He describes a sighting that occurred almost 2 weeks before Samaniego's. So, according to Officer Cifuentes, he was leaving the police station on foot when suddenly a black creature with a large stick swooped down out of the sky. He instinctively closed his eyes, and according to his report, quote, I felt much cold, as if I had gotten into a freezer full of ice.
Okay.
The creature did not do physical harm to him, but he had felt that the creature's energy had pierced his body. It all happened so suddenly, but Cifuentes claimed that he was attacked by a classic witch and that the stick the creature had was more like a broom that it used to fly around. He had the distinct impression that the bruja was a humanoid woman. No other. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about these sightings.
Yeah. This episode's taking a turn.
I know it's taking a turn, but like these are the sightings that are associated with Camazotz.
Okay.
So at no point did I find anything that was just like, yeah, Camazotz is a bruja. But I think that like because the descriptions are like, oh, it had maybe wings and fur and like claws, that it could just be Camazotz.
Yeah.
But their interpretations of it were a more readily accessible, the bruja.
Fair.
So.
Okay. Yeah. I understand why these are tied together. It's just funny that this episode started being about witches.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I think that like the witchcraft and brujeria and like I'm not pronouncing that right. It's got to be like brujeria or something like that. But it's yeah, I think it's all kind of under the same umbrella. I should maybe do some research into brujeria at some point.
Yeah, you really should do that before you go into a coffee shop like a Starbucks again and try to order one.
Order the cinnamon bruja. Can you brew me up a bruja?
Or you can get laughed and spat on again.
Yeah. Which in this day and age, I can't afford to.
Yeah. No, that honestly has taken a bigger. That's a much worse of a crime than it used to be.
No longer enter Starbucks. I pronounce everything too good. So,
I need a cappuccino.
So,
do you think? Wait. Real question.
Yeah.
Do you think that Italians have adopted the and like pronounce frappuccino the way, since that is like an American word? We made up frappuccino.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a thing.
Oh, that's disgusting.
So, do you think that there's like they had pronounced that like they would pronounce a cappuccino, or do you think that they're like this we don't even say this?
Do you think you can go somewhere in Italy where you can get a fucking frap? Is that like a thing? I guess they probably have Starbucks, right? So like,
yeah.
I feel really stupid right now.
No, but like I do know like regional menus and stuff happen, so I don't know if they would serve a frappuccino.
They just like don't even serve fraps at the Starbucks there because it's too offensive.
Yeah, like this is another pandemic thing. I got an espresso maker, so I've been watching a lot of fucking coffee YouTube.
Oh yeah,
and the way like a lot of the names for various things came about do not make, like, the cappuccino was originally just like a coffee with enough milk in it to meet the color of a Capuchin monk's robes.
Wow.
And now it's a like a drink in thirds of like foam milk coffee, whatever. But even the ratios don't actually make sense. So now like it's kind of freeform. So basically what I'm getting at is like, actually I don't really know. I have no point here. I'm just talking. But I do wonder, do we have any Italian listeners? Do you like allow the word frappuccino into your language, or is it affront everything you stand for in terms of coffee?
Email us at itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com and with subject title the Frappuccino question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I know that we have had a guest many years ago who lives in Italy.
Oh, you're right. Jesus.
But
that episode was an audio nightmare.
I can Yeah, that was difficult, but I can
Recording with
maybe
like a very live mic in an open room with
yeah.
the road with a window open. That was
I'll reach out to them and see if they can give me any insight onto the frap question too.
yeah.
So yeah, didn't do physical harm to him, but he felt the energy pierce his body. Uh and he thinks it's a witch, a bruja, a
Okay.
humanoid woman. No other sightings in early 2004 had described the creature in quite this way. In the wake of the flurry of news stories of Officer Samaniego's initial sighting, Guadalupe's mayor Juan Francisco Rivera, in an attempt to calmly address the public on the issue, declared that Officer Samaniego was a good public servant and had good character, but sometimes the stress of being a police officer or excess work might get to some people.
Okay.
Look, he was having a fucked up day.
Yeah. So you just
So he
imagine
saw the Batman. What of it?
he saw well, he didn't see it because he had his eyes closed.
Right.
He felt the energy pierce him in a way
Right.
that I'm not entirely sure what that means. But it feels like something that might make a cop start shooting. So I'm kind of surprised that he didn't.
Yeah. So the mayor believed the young policeman thought he saw something, but, quote, sometimes life puts us in weird situations that we cannot explain. So that's not mysterious.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
not.
That doesn't seem like we're hiding things at all.
However, the politician had no comment on the many dozens of other sightings throughout the area made by other police officers and average citizens alike.
How many fucking cops saw this thing?
I don't have a count, but
Okay.
I want to say it was like at least a dozen people or so.
Well, that starts to feel like a trend where this thing's actually like
Well, like-
terrorizing cops.
But that's the
and-
thing. This happens. The sightings come in after there's this like big report on this one officer
Yeah.
seeing a creature, right?
Right.
So, the sightings of this huge black flying humanoid in the Monterey area petered out within 2 years or so of the initial report. So,
Is it really petered out if it took 2 years?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I think it's just saying there, like,
No, I
like
know
all
what you
these-
mean.
Yeah,
I'm not actually. It's just the fact that normally it's like, oh yeah, this thing happened over the course of like a month or two, but this went on for 2 years.
yeah. I mean, like, you think like you could, yeah. It went on for a while. I mean, we have fucking Bigfoot for
Oh yeah,
lifetimes,
but
but there's like explosions of witnesses. During there's like. If one big one happens, then you'll just like have a smattering of
Yeah.
more than your average sightings around those as well.
it's your Bigfoot waves.
Yeah.
we have our UFO
The
waves.
flap.
We have the flaps. Yeah,
Mhm.
Flap of the wings here.
That's right.
Camazotz.
You got the fucking flap of the wings of Camazotz, and that's what we're gonna call this 2-year period, the flap of the wings of Camazotz. So in another part of northern Mexico,
Oh yeah, we have a whole other story.
yeah, in the rural parts of the neighboring state of Chihuahua, a similar creature has been sighted. As the largest state in Mexico, Chihuahua, along with its namesake desert, boasts huge forests, deep canyons, rugged mountains, and sweeping prairies. Many parts of the state are still wild and somewhat inaccessible and would make perfect habitat for an unknown creature or creatures. We see reports of the tall, dark, flying humanoid creature occur again in the year 2009 in a few small towns throughout Chihuahua. Just west of the capital of the state, Chihuahua City, near the Sierras. I'm sorry, I Chihuahua City. I just like it's Chihuahua. That's
Yeah,
fine,
it's
but
a fun- it's a
Chihuahua
little dog.
City,
Yeah.
makes me think of a city run by tiny dogs,
Then they all
and
eat
that's
the cheese.
so cute, and they all eat the cheese.
Mhm.
Near the Sierras, in the town of La Junta, a young man was returning home from his studies along a very infrequently traveled road. It's March 6th, 2009. He comes across something hunched over in the middle of the road.
Shit. Okay.
When the man's Jeep got closer to the hunched over figure, it stood up and what he saw was similar to the sightings in Nuevo Leon just a few years before. It was a being standing upright, black, covered in fur, with a face similar to a human's and bat wings.
Okay.
According to the
So here we explicitly have bat
here we
wings.
explicitly have bat wings.
Okay.
According to this eyewitness, the creature had 2 sets of wings and also red eyes. When it started to leap toward the Jeep, the young man sped up his vehicle, and for 15 minutes, the creature flew next to him, looking into the passenger window.
He just wanted a ride.
Yeah.
Look,
I had
you're
my
on,
thumb
you're on
out,
this
dude.
like weird road. He had multiple sets of wings, so he's got multiple thumbs out, and this thing just needed a place to stay.
What about your wings, man? These are just for show. I really, really need you to get me into the next city over.
What about your red
Please.
eyes? I'm really high.
I am so high on like a couple different drugs, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, just like so the story, it's very similar to what happened a few years prior. The story hits the newspaper, El Heraldo de Chihuahua, and much like what happened in the neighboring state a few years before, once the story hit the mainstream media, other people started coming forward with stories of other sightings.
Oh, of course.
So, two women, Angela Mendez and Viviana Ledesma, both from a town south of La Junta called Miñaca, claimed to have seen and heard the creature in an apple grove near the town's cemetery. This is only the second time that it was reported that the creature made noise. In most of the sightings, it's been silent. Although this gigantic man bat might scare people, physical attacks on humans did not happen in any of these sightings.
Okay.
Animals, however, are another story.
Okay.
Many ranchers in the areas and other people in these like rural spots have blamed the creature for the killing of their livestock. The phenomenon of cattle mutilation, which has occurred with some frequency in the American Southwest, has also occurred in northern Mexico. And once the stories of the man bat became public, many people put the blame of mutilated livestock on this creature. So,
okay. So is this separate from like chupacabra stuff where, I mean, that was goats, not
those were goats.
cows,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
This is like livestock. And I think it's just like if the sightings previously hadn't been this like weird winged black creature,
Mm-hmm.
then it might have just been. And I bet you almost anything that there's people online who lump these stories in as chupacabra.
Oh, probably.
It's one of those things where like you have these weird mysterious sightings of like an unknown creature doing and all this stuff, and you can kind of fit it into a couple different creatures.
Yeah, I mean, just the last one, they were talking about it being a bruja, but also
Bruja.
we're talking about it as a Camazotz. Like, these things are just unknown creatures, and you try to categorize them as best you can, but everyone has different ideas of what that is.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like I was even reading this and thinking to myself, like some of this sort of reminds me of Mothman.
Yeah.
There's some Mothman-esque traits to this thing.
The red eyes do remind me of Mothman, and the wings are, of course, I don't think Mothman's ever had two sets of wings, but also like,
yeah,
when wings are big enough, you can kind of like it's at night, it's hunched over, whatever. So I could see this being. Mothman has been known to kind of go around, he was
he's he
he
just
was
like
seen in an elevator the day of 9/11. He's been seen in Chicago.
Yeah.
He's he kind of hangs out all over the place.
all over the place. Well, and he also just like the hovering thing reminds me of Mothman too, because like in some sightings he doesn't really fly. He just kind of like sits there and like I don't know if he ever explicitly. I remember there's one time where he was in Israel and he hovered.
I believe so. Look,
I remember that.
What's the birthright trip? Mothman took his birthright.
Yeah,
trip.
that's what that episode was. Yeah, there's an episode where we found a Mothman story where he like hovered outside a woman's window in Israel. So, yeah.
So Mothman confirmed Jewish.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, a farmhand working a ranch near Huerta El Rosario claimed that he saw the creature struggling when caught up in some netting used to shield small plants from hail.
Was there a bright light near the netting?
I don't. You just. Yeah, I guess this. You just like go out to check on your fucking tomatoes, and there's a giant man bat in your net.
It would be both terrifying and also just like perplexing.
Yeah.
It feels like the beginning of a movie that would have the subtitle "A Modern Fairy Tale."
Yeah. So within days of this report, nearby ranches had sheep that had been found with their throats slit and their tails cut off.
Okay.
Uh, Later in 2009, governmental authorities became involved to try to assuage the panic of the people in rural Chihuahua and to try to come up with some answers for everybody. The police department of the town of Guerrero joined forces with the Civil Defense Department of Chihuahua to try to track down the creature. The joint task force concluded that if this man bat were real, it probably lived in the mountain wilderness outside of Minyaka, but could never track down this elusive nocturnal creature or find any physical evidence of its existence.
They didn't find a stash of goat tails
No.
and I don't know.
Not a
Throat
single
blood?
not a single track or a tuft of fur or a single luxury.
Goat tails and throat blood is my favorite death metal album.
Yeah. Yeah. It's by
Exhumed.
Man Bat Death. I don't know. So
I want to know where that was going.
Man Bat Death
Cult. I don't
Cult.
know. Yeah.
After this formal investigation, the sightings seemed to fall off, and there hasn't been a sighting in northern Mexico of these creatures for years.
Okay. So we had 2000, so we had all the way back in ancient Mayan times, like prehistory,
Mhm.
like creation myth times.
Man Bat. Yep.
And then he took a break,
A significant break.
just chilled for a while. You know, was probably still around, but mainly like stayed in and,
Well, it does strike me as one of those things that like it's like casual stories of this thing have probably existed for a very long time.
yeah.
But these are like official sightings that were big enough to get translated into English, you know? So I don't know if I'm missing some, but I'd assume that there have been stories and legends of this thing for a very long time.
Yeah, probably.
Now, the northern Mexico man bat got the attention of Lauren Coleman,
Hell yeah.
an American cryptozoologist, by the way, who has been mentioned I don't know how many times on this episode. We've never like I've always been like, you know, I should get into Lauren Coleman and see what they're all about, but like
Runs the Cryptozoological Museum.
yeah, just like touches upon a million different cryptid things.
Yeah.
And you know, he noted that the appearance of this being in rural Chihuahua coincided with the outbreaks of the H1N1 swine flu in the region, but a direct cause and effect relationship did not necessarily exist.
Hey, correlation
So-
is not causation.
Yeah. So,
Just putting that out there, Lauren. But I see. I at least like the effort of trying to make something, make some ties.
the man bat brought us swine flu.
Yeah.
Coleman and other cryptid and paranormal researchers have compared the northern Mexican man bat appearances to the American Mothman sightings, which occurred during the mid 1960s in rural West Virginia. So, yeah, Lauren Coleman like stepped in and like made like got some accounts of this thing, and I think probably just like I'm assuming this is in a book somewhere. Like he has some notes on this guy and compares it to the Mothman.
Lauren Coleman has put out a lot of books. He's one that I always kind of look for when I go to Half Price Books, and have yet to find any, because like he just travels around researching this shit. It's cool.
It seemed to me that the Lauren Coleman angle was that it was like, oh, could the Mexican man bat merely be the same creature as Mothman?
Yeah, that's fair.
That was the question. So that is the quote unquote the Mexican man bat, aka Camazotz. Nile,
Yeah,
can I hit you with something that might shock you?
sure.
I have a little thing I want to do. And
Oh.
it's not the big question. This is
okay.
this is a segment.
We don't. Okay, now. Okay, what do we have planned here?
It's a quick and easy segment. It's I couldn't not talk about it. This is Kyle's comment corner.
Comment
Comment.
comment on us, or a comment
Oh,
from
no.
your research? Okay.
Comment in the middle of doing my research.
Okay, yeah,
I
we have done
found-
this before, so that's okay. We've
This
established
this is officially now Kyle's comment corner, at least when I'm doing it, and then it'll be Nile's comment corner when he
It's
does
nice
it.
that we have names that rhyme because then it makes naming our segments easier.
That's true. So yeah, this is quick and easy, but I really wanted to bring these up because I found them so delightful. The first comment is from a poster on a forum. Their username free to roam. And it's somebody they quote a post that says the Maya Codex describes Camazotz holding a knife of sacrifices in one hand and his victim in the other. And they quoted that and replied to it with the post saying, "Nice God, not."
Got him. Just like
So I love it.
go fucking look at the goddamn like Old Testament God. He
Nice God, not.
yeah, Jesus. Okay.
So that's one comment. The only other comment I really wanted to bring up.
That was the same comment I had when I saw that there's a Jesus-based NFT collection happening. That's what I replied to the tweet with.
That's my face when I read the Bible. So
Kyle, we're gonna start a bonus show where I just make you read the
make
Bible.
me read the Bible. We do a Bible study. Hey, here's the thing though. I'd do it. I would do it.
Here's the other thing though. There was a time when for my youth group class was literally just reading, literally like we would just read the Bible.
Yeah.
In going straight through and talk about it. It's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so dry.
Maybe it would be fun now that we've had 5+ years of experience reading about conspiracy stuff that involves the Bible. Maybe it would be really it could be terrible though.
I will say
it could be terrible.
We got into like the second or third book of the Old Testament, and then we literally skipped to Revelations because we were very bored and Revelations was more fun.
Is there like a fun sort of jazzed up sort of like remixed Bible we could read?
There's the Message, and then there's there's the manga Bible.
Oh, that's true. We could read that. That would teach me a lot, maybe.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I have one other comment that I really wanted to bring up, and it's on the wiki page for Camazotz. The first comment is by ID Spaug. That's Spaugh. I don't know how else to pronounce that. ID Spaug posted Bat Friend, to which another user named Amazing Ancient World replied, "Sure." So that was Kyle's comment corner.
Yeah, segment that we'll see if that ever returns again.
Oh, hey.
But
I'm sure I can find some good comments.
Yeah. So Kyle, normally this is when we have a big question.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
I forgot to write it down.
Oh.
So
do you remember it, or do you?
Well, no. I mean, like I did one of those things where I like wrote the notes and I was like, all right, I should put a big question here, and then I forgot to.
I do that all the time.
And I did that. So give me 1 second, and I'm sure I'll have something for you. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Perfect question. Let's say you're in a scenario where a giant man-bat cryptid monster has latched onto the hood of your car and is attacking your car.
Okay.
You have this thing fucking. It is locked on. It is on your car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy did donuts to try and get this thing off him. All that did was result in a crash and him knocking himself out. But I guess he was safe from the creature.
Right.
My question is, if you were in that situation with a big monster on your car, what car maneuver would you do to shake the thing off and get out safe?
Now, I can guarantee that I've seen more Fast and Furious movies than the guy that did this, that cop basically just shout like, I was about to fucking, for no goddamn reason, I was about to say shouts out again.
Shouts out to family.
Myself for watching Fast and the Furious movies, I guess. So here's the thing. There's a lot of like fun maneuvers that you can do. Now I wish that if I had more wiggle room here, there's literally a whole sequence in Fast 6, I think, that is based around this person driving around in a car that has like a wedge on the front that they use just to flip cars.
Okay.
So they're driving around this like really low to the ground car that literally just gets under other cars and flips them so they can like evade all the police, and it's fucking cool. So I would love to do that and just like
Flip the fucking thing.
scoop the thing
Just
off, and
scoop
just, like
'em.
flip it into the air.
Yeah.
That would be great. But instead, what I'm gonna do is at the end of I believe it's Fast Five. There's someone is being thrown out of another car across a bridge, and um
Sorry, is Dom a friend of yours?
Dom is Vin Diesel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And Dom
Family.
it basically uses his car to then like crash into the like wall of the bridge and fling himself over to grab this person and save them.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do that, but to hug the man bat. I'm gonna
Oh, you're
crash the
gonna
car and to like launch myself into an embrace with the
and
man
just
bat.
kill him with kindness.
Yeah, I mean, not kill him, but yeah, I'm gonna.
Squeeze it to fucking death.
No, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna I'm gonna crash the car to
Yeah.
launch myself
Yeah.
into an embrace with this cryptid.
With the man.
And then maybe see what it's about, see if it needs any help, see if I can if I can just like hang out with it in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. The thing I think was just startled by the lights. It doesn't really seem to attack.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I'm like. I'm not trying to hurt it. Like, I'm just I'm gonna shield it from the lights, and then
you don't
maybe
want,
get
like,
to some quiet space and like hang out.
You don't want to like run over the fucking thing and like
No.
roll it up like a croissant or like
Sorry, Kyle. What kind of croissants do you eat that are like rolled up?
they're like they're kind of rolled up. They're like
Yeah, if they're stuffed, I guess. Yeah, I guess they are kind of rolled up. That's my bad. You're correct.
That's okay. What's the term for like when like a car has like the type of wheel thing where it can like bounce?
Hydraulics.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get. Have you seen the video of the car that has hydraulics that's causing it to bounce like 6 feet into the air?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna bounce that fucking thing, and it's either going to let go or throw up. And I'm gonna bounce that fucking thing up and down.
I really thought you were gonna try to bring in one of your favorite videos of all time. The what is it? The
Unintelligible empanada
Yeah.
truck.
Yep. I'm glad you knew exactly where I was going. I was waiting for you to try to figure out how to wedge that one in here.
Hey, pause the episode right now. Go to YouTube. Type in unintelligible empanada truck. That's the rest of your afternoon. It's so good. It's like it's one of the best videos on YouTube.
Do a double feature of that movie and any Fast and Furious movie 5+. Yeah. And you'll have a good time.
You gotta play the unintelligible empanada truck directly after finishing Fast and the Furious.
Just go on Fast 5. It rules.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Just invoking the name unintelligible empanada truck makes me laugh. That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Nile, I think that wraps this one up. You
Yeah.
want to do some business?
Yeah, let's take care of some business. So if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Twitter at IGW Podcast.
You can follow us on Facebook.com/itgetsweirdpodcast.
And we're on all your favorite podcatchers, from Stitcher to Google Play to Apple Podcasts to Spotify. Fuck Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But if you look up It Gets Weird, you'll probably find us on whatever podcatcher you use.
itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Just email us about the frap question this week. We will accept no other emails. So
I just want to know how Italians
Yeah.
pronounce Frappuccino.
yeah, let me know if you're from, and we're only accepting emails from Italians this week.
We're going to narrowcast.
Just kidding.
Fuck.
Go ahead and email us, please. It's so delicious. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. At the $2 tier, you get a bonus episode every other week. We're doing It Gets Weird TV, where we're watching Gravity Falls currently, a weird show about cartoon kids doing weird shit. It's kind of it's like cryptids and like the ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, it's very in our lane.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, we at the $5 tier, you get that show plus other bonus shows on the off weeks for It Gets Weird TV. So you're getting a bonus episode every fucking week.
Yeah.
Whether or not you donate to the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to our mainline shows 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday. You get access to our super secret Discord, which I guess is not so much a secret now.
No, it's a super secret Discord that we mention like twice
every
a week.
episode. Yeah. So Go ahead and donate if you can. We also have a $1 tier where it's just you're kicking us a buck saying, "Hey, I like your show." You don't get anything out of it. You just get the satisfaction of like tipping your favorite podcast, which I know we are. So yeah, go ahead and donate to patreon.com/itgetsweird. And if you can't donate, we understand, but we only ask that you tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird. Bam.
You did it.
And that's it.
Well, thank you all for listening. This has been It Gets Weird, and I've been Nile.
And I'm Kyle signing out.
Peace.